Hello, welcome, welcome. Okay, I hope you can see me. Good. Okay. Yes, we are actually live. Okay, hello everyone. Hello if you I'm going first time on a lot of platforms. So you're gonna see me in the camera here, and I'm gonna look down if I have any comments from you. But the topic that I want to talk today is when clients come to me to talk about their problems. And I'm sure you can hear me, but let me know if you don't. Let me know if you don't. Okay, good. Oh, good evening. Oh, hello, hello, hello. Let me know if you can hear me. If you can hear me well, if there's nothing that can. Okay, gonna put the comments. So when the clients come to me, they usually ask me, they tell me about their problems, and they ask me question just for the coaching purposes. Kate, how can I, how do I not take things personally? Like people say something, people do something. People don't, not even talking about me. They're not even talking about me, but I take things personally. People are looking at me and I already think they are talking about me. So all of these things, how do I not take them personally? How do I not take comments from my partner personally? How do I not take comments from my parents personally? Why? Why am I always in my head overthinking and feeling what I believe and I know deep inside I shouldn't be feeling? And so when I try to explain, it is a lot, and it takes like most of the session. So then I have to extend the session not to 2 hours but to 3 hours, just to kind of train and coach clients how to, and what does that mean? Why do we take things personally? And so what happens when we take things personally? First of all, you might notice a lot of thoughts, lots of thoughts. You know, making meanings. Other things that you might notice is the feelings of worry, the feelings of worry somewhere here, somewhere here, like I may be rejected, or I may confirm that I'm not good enough. Does that mean that I'm not worthy? Does that mean that I'm not smart, beautiful enough, skinny enough? You name it. And so, and that creates a lot of tension. And remember that tension in your body takes away energy. So if you take things personally, whether it's from your loved ones, family members, friends, clients, right, or people you work with, it means that all of that energy is taken from your day. And you won't have any time for doing things that you really want to do. So here's what happens: you really want to be more productive, more effective in a day. And at the same time, you're like thinking and overthinking, taking things personally. And I really want to talk about why that happens. Why your mind focuses so much on other people's words, comments, reactions, behaviors. And so it's easier for you to really, let go, right? Let go. That's one of the most incredible feeling that can happen. If you have any questions, please let me know. But let's go with the what happens in your body and what happens in your mind when you take things personally. When we take things personally, one little part of us awakens, and it's called ego. What is ego, right? Ego is the type of us, that the part of us that is very attached to our bodies, to our emotions and feelings. So imagine you have like a soul, let's just say consciousness, right? It is not that attached to the body, but the ego is strongly attached to the body, strongly attached to, it's a very protective part of us that wants to protect your feelings and wants to protect your emotions and your body. The ego is born approximately at the age of 2. This is why people say terrible twos, terrible threes, because at that moment, when the ego is born, it's actually our also personal boundaries, right? At that time, we are starting to rebuild our personal boundaries. We say no, and we see how the parents react to the no. We say, I want this, and we react if we're going to get this. And if we don't, then the ego gets hurt. And then the ego gets hurt, it remembers that hurt, and it will recreate or do things in order to protect, in order to not feel the same pain, right? So, what we do when we have our ego touched, triggered, which means we took something personally, we can do three things. We can attack, like attack back, right? So give back what we received. For example, our partner, our kids, our coworkers, family members, friends, right? Say something with anger or with frustration or with criticism. For some people, it will be to give back. And what happens in that moment is the vicious cycle. So it then starts to be like a ping pong until the energy is out. So that's where, how we call the conflict, the fight. That's what happens. So you hear the criticism, you start to protect, the ego is getting triggered, and you want to give back. You want to attack to protect yourself, right? It means that you took things personally. You start to believe, oh, it's about me. Oh, I'm going to give back. It's not about me, it's about you. And then the conflict it happens. Some people will choose the strategy of avoiding, right? Avoiding means I will just stay quiet, like just avoid the conflict. However, your head takes the biggest hit. So what happens with your head? Then you avoid the conflict, you avoid it, but you still took it personally, which means that your head will have lots of thoughts. Now you go home and you start to overthink. Okay, what did he mean? What did she mean? Oh, it must be about this. Oh, why didn't I stand up for myself? Oh, this and this and this. That's your head will take the hit if you didn't, for example, stand up for yourself, right? So that, and we still take things personally. And the third action is freeze, right? So fight, flight, or freeze. Pretend dead, let's just say, right? In nature, it is that type of a response. But in society, with human beings, it's the freeze. So we cannot say anything. So we start to feel the lump in the throat. We take it personally, but we cannot do anything about it. Right? So that's the ego part. And what are the roots and causes of this? Why? What is the root cause of taking things? When did you start to take things personally? If you have noticed little kids are funny in that part that they are like little bubble. If you look at the children between the age of 1 and 2, they're like in a bubble. Even if the parents are fighting, they still seem to be doing what they're doing, like playing with a toy. It's only after about 18 months and up, they start to notice the fight, and it starts to affect them in a more internalized way. Right? But before that, you look at them like they're in a bubble, which means they still know that it's not about them. They still believe that, well, something is happening, like the raised voices, the conflict, the screaming, but it's not about me. However, we all had those experiences in childhood. We all had those experiences in childhood when we started to believe it must be me. It must be about me. Parents divorced, it must be about me. Mom blames me for whatever, for not fulfilling her dreams, it must be about me. We start to say that it's all about me. Remember why that happens. A child has the most incredible unconditional love for their parents, no matter what parents do. And so they will take all the blame. They will take everything in. And that's how we started to take things personally from our, friends then, from our, partners. Another root cause. So one is when we started to blame ourselves. It must be about me. And in order to release that blame and release that shame, the best way is to forgive yourself for everything. Forgive yourself for everything and close that case. It's like a court. I was telling that in my previous lives that it's like this court, that you are the judge, you're the juror, you're the judge, you're the advocate, you're like everything. You're the lawyer and you're the victim. Or you are the person who is judged, right? So we create that in our mind. So we need to punish ourselves, to justify ourselves, and all of that is happening in almost every situation. So you close that case. That's it. Forgive yourself for everything, and it wasn't about you. It wasn't about you. But sometimes we are blaming ourselves for actions that we did in our more conscious age, like in 20 or 25. Still, forgive yourself because you did the best based on the experience you had at that time. Another root cause of why we do things, we take things personally, is expectations. So every conversation that you have, every situation, every touch point you have with other people, you have expectations. So I'm coming up to my partner, for example, to talk about something, or this conversation just arises out of whatever, nothing, right? I have expectations. I have expectations how my partner needs to respond. And he needs to understand me. He needs to listen to me. He needs to praise me, respect me. We have these expectations, and most of the time, they are not realized because we cannot control expectation. When you have expectations of other people, you want to control their reaction. For example, I come up to my child to tell her that I won't be able to buy her something that she wants. For example, I come up to her and she's angry, she's upset, she's furious, right? But I have expectations that she will be very understanding, that she will be mature to understand. So I want to control the way she responds to my words. But do I actually have that control? No. So what I do, and it's the best way to do, is to allow that person to react the way they are capable of reacting. The way they react is based on their experience. Their reality doesn't match. For example, my daughter really, really wanted something, but I didn't give it to her. And so now she has a conflict. Reality didn't match with my expectations. She's angry. She is angry. The same as we get angry. The same as we get angry when we talk to our partners, and our expectations are not met. The reality is not what we wanted. So expectations. Okay, I have some problems with I have some problems with the internet. I hope it's going to reconnect. On Instagram, I don't know if people can see me or if people can hear me, but we'll see. Maybe it's going to be. Come on, good. And my face is so funny out there. Anyway, who is watching me on Instagram, they can go to watch on Facebook, or they can go and watch on YouTube. Live video paused. Okay, let's see. Come on. Let's see if we can do that. Okay, so let's go. If the Instagram is not, I'm going to direct them to other platforms. Okay, expectations. So what are your expectations of people? What are your expectations of people? Right? So if this doesn't work, we're going to go there and see if we can reconnect again. Right? Life. Right? Okay. Please hold, right? Is live. Okay. I'm going to put it over here and you can see me here, right? Okay. Good. You can see me. Good. Okay. So, what can be, what are your expectations of other people? How do you want people to treat you? Because if you want people to treat you a specific way, your subconscious mind will be triggered if it doesn't happen. And very often, it actually doesn't happen. It actually doesn't happen. So, and that's very, very important. Okay. Okay? I'm live. Good. So think about what the expectations you have from your partners, from your kids, from your family members, right? We want our parents to praise us, to still appreciate us, even if we are adults. And if they don't, we take it personally. And that's what happens, right? So it's very important for you to define what expectations you have of people. And if we have expectations, we want to control. If we have expectations, we want to control. Another root cause of why we take things personally is the black or white thinking. Right, the black or white thinking happens when we don't have any other options between good or bad, right or wrong. Right, that's what happens. So when, for example, people are telling us an information, we are reading an information on the internet, on social media, what happens in that case? In that case, we have expectations that it will be the same as us. If I have a black or white thinking, if I think that this is right, everyone needs to think that this is right. And that's when we take things personally, because it's not going to happen. People will have their own opinions, people will have their own things, and that's going to trigger us a lot. So what we do, we try to prove ourselves, right? We start to, prove either it's in text, whether it's in verbally, we start, or it's going to happen in our head. How many times you had the conversation and you continued the conversation days after it happened. It's already done. The person already forgot about it, but you're still keeping it. You're still keeping it in your mind. So if you know that story, right, about monk and his student, right, who were crossing the river. And I will tell you that because you need to hear that. So there was a story that a monk was crossing the river with his student, younger student, and when they were crossing, the current was very, very fast, and so they saw a woman. Then the woman couldn't cross the river because it was very, very strong, and she was afraid for her life. And so the monk took the woman and he helped her. He carried her across the river and let her go. She thanked him, and then they went away. The student and the monk were going up to the hill, to the place that they lived. And so when almost 3 hours later, right before their home, the student is asking the monk, listen, I don't understand. You are a monk. Your religion doesn't allow you to touch a woman. How can you touch a woman? Why? You broke the whole rule. And so the monk is telling the student, I was carrying that woman for 3 minutes, and you were carrying that woman for 3 hours in your head. That's how we take things personally, right? We start to dwell on the things after it happened. Let's go to the most common root cause of this. When you were a child, if you had a silent treatment. How our mind becomes a vicious cycle of thoughts and meanings and beliefs is when we are left alone in childhood to think about our problems. So if you send your child, or you were a child and you were sent to your room and said, go and think about it. Go and think about what you have done. Or parents don't talk to their kids for hours, for days. They give them silent treatment. What happens in a child's mind? They start to go crazy in their head. Like, what is happening? What is going to happen? What is going to happen? What is that? Does that mean that I have, what should I have done? Anger, frustration, conflict, resentment, all of these feelings are boiling inside a child, and the child feels out of control and helpless. That's what happens. And that's why it's so important to understand whether you had it in your childhood. If you did, then you will have the same exact fear of being left out, of being rejected, and being lonely if you do something that someone doesn't like. So when you have conversation, you will overthink, what should I say? What if they don't like what I say? And then we take things what? Personally. That's what holds us back from being yourself in a conversation, standing up for yourself and building your personal boundaries. So who had silent treatment? Who's had silent treatment in childhood? Your mind will have racing thoughts because you will try. The subconscious mind doesn't like things unresolved. So it will try to go through different scenarios. What to do, what should I have done, what to do in the future. I would like worry all the time. So, and it will continue. It will continue in the present life. Or we can adopt that strategy as well. So if someone gave us a silent treatment, we give them silent. We give our kids, we give our partners silent treatment, and that's going to happen, unfortunately. So another root cause is highly sensitive people. Empath, right? Empath, or how do you call it? Highly sensitive people who are absorbing the energy, absorbing the emotions of other people. Why that happens? What happens is your mind became alert, very cautious, because based on someone else's emotions, it defined your survival. So if dad or mom were angry and they would yell at you, or maybe they would punish you, then you started to be very, very aware of what other people say and do, right? Some scientists and psychologists believe that some people are born highly sensitive people, and that is true. That can happen as well, right? And that we start to be very susceptible to other people's emotions. In this case, it's a training that you need to do for yourself. So the best training for highly sensitive people is when you train yourself to use high sensitivity to people's emotions to the benefit. For example, you can become a healer, or you can become a therapist, and you can really know and see, what needs to be done, or you can feel the emotions and really connect to the person. Sometimes you can be a very good salesperson when you're highly sensitive. You can become, because you know what they feel, you can connect to it, you can become compassionate, you can become affectionate, you can become more close. So that's how you can use this skill to your benefit. And then train yourself to not use it and to put the protective filter when it's not beneficial for you. Right? For example, if someone is screaming, or someone is judging you, someone is criticizing you, then what you do is you train yourself to not take it in. I'm not letting it in. It is not about me, right? Good. Also, people who take things personally, and this is one of the concepts that you might not like and you might not want to accept, is when we take things personally, it's a little bit of self-centered, a little bit of selfish, because we think it's about us. We think it's about us. When we take things personally, oh, it must be me. But they must have talked about me. Oh, they probably think I'm not good enough. That's what happens. Okay, I'm going to close and put on the phone. Okay, good. Okay, so that's what happens. It's a little bit selfish. It's not about you. In most cases, it's not about you. When two people communicate and there is a criticism or a judgment or a little comment or a sneaky comment, right? It is not about you. It is about them. But we start to believe it's about me. So it's a little bit self centered. It's not about you. It's not. And most of the things in our life is not about us. The only person who is the most important for you, and you are the most important too, is you. That's it. And when you really embrace that concept, that's when you regain freedom. That's when you can gain freedom. It's when you realize that I am the only important person for myself. You're not, when for example, we have teenage kids or kids who are leaving the house at about 18 to 21, right? We sometimes still cling to them. We cling to them because we still believe like, oh my goodness, I was so important for them and now I'm not. Or we have teenager kids who are like, go into their own world and build social circles and friendships. And we believe, well, I was the only person, important person for them, and now I'm not. And we get frustrated, detachment, right? Detachment. What happens when what can you do, right? In order to not take things personally. So the first thing you can do is know who you are. Know who you are. If you know who you are, you know your intentions, your values, your principles, and the rules that you live by, right? You will be much stronger to let go and not take things personally. That's what's going to help. So discover yourself. Discover yourself. If you're playing the role of a perfect child, if you are playing a role of a sick child, of a perfectionist, of a overachiever, of a people pleaser, right? That's all going to inhibit, and of course you're going to take things personally because these are the roles of the ego. Ego has these roles. Ego plays these roles. I'm going to be perfect. I'm going to be loved. I need to please people so they will love me, and everyone loves me. I need to be, weak. I need to be a victim, and that's how I can get what I want, and not do what I don't want to do. I need to be a rebel and defy the world, and that's how I'm going to be free and loved. But the only freedom comes is when you strip of all of those roles and you come back to yourself. So self-discovery, usually 2/3 of your life needs to be your trust in yourself, your intuition, following your heart, and 1/3 of your life is living in the society, right? Like, so maybe even following some social standards that you need to if you live in a certain country and you following the rules, or you following the concepts, or there are some requirements, right, and expectations of you as a citizen of a certain country, right? Yes, some part of your life will be living in the society and following the rules of the society, but the 2/3 of your life should be following your heart. That will be the happiest balance, for you. Another thing, how to not take things personally is to realize that you need to learn people's behaviors. You need to learn that everything they do that you don't like is you're capable of that as well. That's it. Everything you everything you don't like in people, you are capable of that as well under certain circumstances. That's what happens. When you understand that, it will be so much easier for you to live in this world. So much easier to live in this life. Right? So that's something to realize, that you will never be liked by everyone. When we take things personally, we get hurt, and we're afraid that we'll be rejected or not liked or not accepted, right? But you won't be liked by everyone because you are unique. You're not like a standard person that everyone should like. No one owes you their affection. No one owes you the praise. No one owes you the acceptance. And no one owes you the respect, even your own child. They don't owe you that. They will do it based on your parenting style. based on your awareness of how you parent. Do you do you parent unconsciously or consciously? That will depend on how much respect you're going to have from your children. Children are byproducts of our, they're mirrors of what's happening in the family. So that's important to know as well. So you're unique. You will not be liked by everyone. And when you realize that, you let go. You let go of overthinking. You let go of taking things personally. If you want to be successful, and it's probably going to hear that everywhere, but this is a really good concept, is you need to accept a negative criticism or negative comment or judgment to happen in your life. It will happen. People judge. Everyone judges. You go into the store and you judge apples, which one are the best to take into your bag. You go to the hairstylist, you pick the best one. Does that mean that others are not good? No, but you judge. You judge based on their reviews, referrals, the way they do the work. We judge all the time. So allow the judgment to happen in your life. That's it. But because you're running away from it so much, that's what creates this feeling here, this feeling of dissatisfaction, this feeling of worry, of anxiety. Another thing that you can do is to not take things personally, is to learn how the universe works. So we take things personally because we don't agree, right? We don't agree how the things turned out, right? Or we sometimes can become very sensitive to the things that are happening in the world. And from that place, we can go two directions. One direction is you help other people, but sometimes to the extent of your own life and your own health. Or you decide to leave the crying and the sobbing for something that is happening in the world, and then you have more energy in order to help. So you choose which direction you want to go, or which direction you want to go. So childhood trauma or some traumatic experiences or difficult experiences that you had in your life are very important to overcome and work through. Everything that happened in the past is in the past, and it can be worked on. It can be healed, released, uncovered. It can be transformed, reframed, you name it. But the past, I think it's not an easy thing to do, but it's possible. It's absolutely possible to change your perception of the past events. And when you change perception of the past events, you don't take things that personally anymore. Yeah. So remember that. I hope that helped you. I hope that if you have any questions, please let me know. I will look at all the platforms if I had any questions, and I will answer. The Instagram connection definitely didn't do that well in that multi-stream software. But let's see how it's going to happen next time. We'll see. But it was nice to talk to you about these things. Work through your past experiences. It's going to help you a lot. It's going to absolutely help you. And it's going to help you release and let go, detach from people's words and other people's behaviors and actions. And when you detach from other people's behaviors, when you detach yourself from people's actions or words or comments, right, you become free. Because very often people want the freedom, and they believe yes, I want to be free, but in the end, they're locked in their head, and locked in the inability to work with their emotions and feelings and beliefs and with their mind. Your mind is a tool. It can be trained and need to be trained. If you need help, you know where to find me. I love you all. Be healthy emotionally and physically. Bye.